Hello, Gophers. You're listening to Go Podcast. I'm Dominique St-Pierre.
And I'm Morten.
And you might find the episode numbers are a little bit strange. Last week, it was actually an old episode. Episode 89 that, for some reason, I did not publish correctly, did not choose the proper date. So that's the numbering issue that we had.
Yeah.
What is going on in your world, Morten?
Well, I got version 1 of Andorra out, which was very nice to get that done. Yeah, required a little bit of trimming to get stuff down into a shape and kind of saying like, now this is it. So yeah, version 1, actually version 1.5.2 is out. I kind of wanted to ship, like saying this is the setup, this is the architecture we're gonna go with, this is the tools we're gonna go with, and then just gradually improve on it as we go from there. But keeping the whatever is in place now as the version 1. So that's very nice. I did a lot of work to get its agent ready. I know we talk a lot about our feeling with AI, but I ever since I added inertia to the project, I'm just flying through the UIs, like smacking ChatGDN, customizing the color theme, and then just I'm off to the races. So the CLI has also got some agent love in terms of commands and stuff. So yeah, pretty excited. Nice. Built almost all my sites with version 1 now, so it's stable. The generator is good. The tooling works great. It's a one build command. And I got it into Awesome Go, which is also cool.
Nice. Yeah.
We'll see. Cool. We'll see when it shows up on the actual website. Right now, the PR is just merged, but
is it a website or it's just a GitHub repo?
They have a website as well that they released for some time. I was actually a little bit surprised because it got auto-merged my PR because it passed the requirements. But I was under the impression that I had to go through an audit and people had to check it, blah, 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 blah. But no.
Nice.
So, if you go on to Awesome Go, you will see Andorra under the full stack frameworks. And you can go back and build MVC application like God intended, the programming God. I don't know. Yeah, so that's quite nice to get that done. Yeah, I've been doing so many projects at the same time with Andorra and my consulting and my deploy grade project. So it's really nice to just stop building so many things at the same time and actually say like, now enough is enough.
Totally. So 1.5, it's a major leap from 1.0 though.
Well, I just do one semantic releases, so it's just features.
Yeah.
So I added Svelte support, for example. I can't remember what else I did that pushed it up. So a couple of fixes, a couple of new features. I did some harness aware installations, so it has like a Andorra skill support. Yeah, basic stuff. But it's out. It's nice. I'm happy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's nice to ship at some point V1.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been raving about this to everyone about how I'm just so baffled how much I lost out on from my dislike of SPAs from having written SPAs before agents and AI and stuff. I was like, no, I'm never gonna do React or anything again. And then I have to admit, it flies through the UI compared to doing Temple stuff.
Yeah.
So all my sites now have an admin with a fully featured management portal for subscribers and newsletters. What you see is what you get, editors, and all of it is basically just half an afternoon.
Yeah, I know.
It looks so good, right? So I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, UI is solved. I at least for things that you don't really need to care too much about, like an admin portal, for example. Like, why would I care what that is written in? That just needs to be there, so I can work with the content. And then for the public facing pages, some of them I'm gonna write by hand. If I really like going back to a conversation, right, we had with Torsten as well. So some pages I'm gonna write by hand, but this just allows me to write the code I actually want to write, which is the backend code, and I can just offload the other stuff to the agent. And that is a huge productivity boost. I know we have gone back, or I have gone back and forth a lot on AI, but that part I'm just that's nice.
Yeah. I still have a branch, believe it or not, in my project called. Well, I have one called Rewrite to Gleam, and I have one called Rewrite to I don't know if it's Temple or whatever, but it was something I tried at some point to see would it be possible to get rid of the SPA that I do have, and it's not. It's just not working. It would take so many time and so many tokens because I don't do UI anymore. It's I've been saying that for a long time now, and at some point I accept my fate. I was starting to say that with Torsten the other day, but when I updated to TypeScript 7, which was built in Go, the build time was crazy because I returned to that phase yet again. It's been a while since we talked, by the way. So we have a lot to cover, I guess. But I returned to that phase where the build phase for me for all these single page application, except Elm, it's abysmal. It's so slow. So I was starting the other day. I was starting to feel yet again I should rewrite everything to be server side driven and maybe Datastar. But the problem with Datastar is that I would need to do everything by hand, and I don't want to do that. I'm not there anymore. So yeah, I mean, updating to TypeScript 7 really helped. So I used the time command on the on the bash thing where I was building before TypeScript. It was around, believe it or not, 92 seconds.
Wow.
This is crazy. And now it's about 10. So it's not like Go. I mean, when you do Go build, it's kind of crazy what we have in Go. We tend to forget that, and as soon as you start to go somewhere else, Rust, for example, this is kind of crazy, the build time. But at the same time, you are getting so much from the build check and whatnot. But I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just saying that with Go, you kind of tend to be used to having something that build fast. And now it was at 92 seconds, it was starting to feel enough pain that I wanted to switch because, since I'm using AI, imagine it was building that thing a lot of times in a session. So, yeah. So that does not work. So things needs to be way faster than that. And TypeScript 7 kind of saved the day. I was going to start a rewrite, to be frank.
Yeah.
Because that was enough of a pain that I feel that will not scale. I cannot continue to add seconds to that. And at some point, I'm like, what? 125 seconds to build something, like 2 minutes? That is unacceptable.
Yeah, it's too much, way too much.
Oh yeah, but yeah, returning to 10 seconds, I'm like, oh, that's good, that's fine.
Yeah.
The type check was crazy slow, and now with the V7, well, it's around 5 seconds. So it's because the application is that big. I mean, I do have a huge application. So So at least I'm in a position where I can continue now. So
nice.
But again, I mean, at some point, if I'm ever to do any kind of real money with this project, it's sure that at some point I will say, you know what, I will take the following 2 months, and I will exit of this situation. But for now, it does not make sense to do that.
No. That is really impressive. I did not know it took that long.
Yeah, they did a crazy great job about the TypeScript compiler, if I can say that, and not only the speed, but it found, I would say, if I recall correctly, like 3 or 4 types error that the previous version was not even finding, which is crazy to me. So it's not only the speed, but the other version was kind of letting some errors on the table. I was like, wow, this is intriguing. I was not expecting that, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So AI built on the front end.
Oh yeah. Well, for me, yeah, as a blind person, it's a no-brainer. I cannot do that either. So it's either I stop building SaaS or I use AI to build a UI. So yeah, it's not even a choice for me. But on the back end, well, it's a different story. But yeah, I posted the the last episode with Thorsten on Reddit, and I was very, very surprised to get downvotes on a comment that I said. Someone said, well, they quote my message and says something, well, did you actually talk about Go? And I reply something like, well, not much. I mean, you might want to skip that one to, it's not related to Go. And after that, I say something like the previous one with Lee and Tony, we interview Lee from Wales and whatnot. That one was all Go, if you want to check that out. I receive like -10 for that comment, and I'm like, Reddit, come on, man, what is going on there? This is crazy. I was like, okay, I'm here since 2018, trying to contribute, and I've said that on that podcast a couple of times. I don't know. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you even doing to help the community? And except downvoting people. This is I don't understand. I just don't understand what's going on there.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. I stopped posting there because I know the response. Especially I posted about a doodle one time, and they were just they did not like it. No thanks. Yeah. But then I posted in other communities. I posted in Wales community. They were like, oh, okay, cool, bro. I mean, let me check it out, maybe. But I don't know. I'm very much not into the community anymore. It's like on Reddit, like I don't.
No, exactly. I was regretting it after the fact. I was like, you know what? Thorsten is known in the community. He wrote 2 great books. I mean, of course we talk about AI and LLM. This is where he is in his life and whatnot. But I think the episode was kind of interesting either way. Either if you dig very hard into AI or you are against. I think it was still balanced in some way. But again, I don't care. But yeah, I won't post there anymore especially for the podcast. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It very much been like that for a long time, and it's kind of. It's almost become like this thing where it's sometimes when you do interviews and you stay enough time in the space, you kind of know what you have to say to be accepted or to be liked, because it's just the same vision for everything, and if you just say those things, then it's fine. Then hey, go have an upvote. I love it.
Yeah, if I were to post, you know what, my wife did this Go first for me. I don't know, whatever, and boom, I would get like 300. Okay, cool. That's fine. Good for you.
Yeah.
On another note, I started receiving some contribution to static backend, so I need to review that.
Nice.
So yeah, someone posted a PR to replace. I was using Zerolog, and now I created an issue very a long time ago.
Yeah.
To replace that with Slug and whatnot.
Nice.
But now I need to review the PR, and it's it's still substantial because it touches a lot of struct. There were a lot of struct that were accepting a log in the struct fields and whatnot. So it was kind of a dependency injection and whatnot, if you will. But now Slug is more like like the HTTP package. You can use Slug everywhere without passing it around and whatnot. So it touches a lot of files. I need to take some time to do that, and kind of. It's not like I'm regretting the issues and whatnot, and I appreciate the PR, but yeah, I need to be careful because I am using static backend in production. So
yeah.
So yeah, it needs to. I need to take some time to do that. But again, every time I'm taking away from the SaaS at the moment is time I don't know. I have difficulties not working on the SaaS. It's going well. I'm reaching the point where I will be profitable regarding the cost of hosting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a small step. So yeah, it's going well. I think I'm doing everything by the book. Everything that I've never done and never really admitted to myself that I was not doing those things. What are those things? Well, talking to customers, but not just by email. Taking the time to schedule calls, sharing screen. So my wife is there. I cannot share screen, so I'm basically there as an observer, and I talk a little bit, of course, but so we are just listening to what problem people have, and I've never really done that. And this is, at first, at first I think it's really the secret sauce to every entrepreneur that succeeded in building a successful software. I've been hearing that for a long time as a software engineer, as a backend person, as a person that don't really like to talk much to other people. It was way out of the box for me.
Yeah.
But doing that, you are hearing exactly the problem that you need to hear. Exactly, it will give you the messaging that you need to have on your website and your marketing channels. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I can admit. Yeah, it's also nice when you get to the point where you actually have someone to talk to, because I think that's also, especially with Deploy Crate, trying to find people that to talk to, right?
Yeah, that's the first step, of course.
Yeah.
But it was not like that at first. Again, you still need to be out there where these people are. So that's another advice I was maybe ignoring. You know how we tend to say, oh, I have some progress, I reach V1, etc. I was able to deploy those are not progress in your business. So I was, way earlier in my SaaS building career, if I can say that. I was on Twitter and I was trying to post there. But of course, my target customers were not there. People it's kind of rare that you will get some attention. You might get some attention on X, but I was not building those kinds of product and whatnot. So my point is, you still need to try to find where they are. It's excruciatingly difficult these days because there is so many crap that is generated by the AI and whatnot that people are fatigued to be anywhere. On LinkedIn, they are fatigued. On all social networks. So you need. I think now the authenticity finally pays out. So admittedly, I was never really a good content creator myself. I never really, I don't know, wrote things that resonated with people and whatnot. But I think these days there is so many, low quality things and repeatable, identical posts that I finally might be able to, I don't know, to surface, and my posts are now interesting because, yeah, I talk with a familiar language and things like that. So it's just not the same as what it is there. So I don't know. For now, it's kind of semi working, but yeah, I agree with you. It's hard. It's hard at first to find where they are, but this, that should probably have been your first target before even writing any kind of line of code. Where will I find these people?
Yeah.
But we all does this error. We all just do. Oh, you know what? I will build a product, and when I have the product, then I will be able to find people. No. This is the hardest part for software engineering. It's crazy now that the marketing people can build software now. Admittedly, big question marks about the quality of software that they are building, but still, they are still able to build. So we, as software engineer that wants to build, software business, we need to get way better at marketing, and LLMs will not help with that. So they still have a little bit of advantage, but again, I think authenticity is winning, and not all marketing people are they were already sounding a little bit like the LLMs, because LLMs trains on what they have published in the last 15 years and whatnot.
Yeah.
So again, there's a small window there, but yeah, finding where customers are and being able to reach out is difficult without sounding too aggressive, salesy and whatnot. So this is not easy.
No, it's difficult. It is also because you just want to build, right? And then I think sometimes I at least lure myself into the thinking like, okay, I can build an MVP very fast now if I use the agents, and if I don't care too much about the quality, I can have an MVP out and I can use that. But yeah, it probably is just not the right way to go about this. It's finding the people, or at least having an idea of where to post about it, right? Because I have had a huge problem with this for deploy crate. Who should I like? How do I find the people I want to talk to? I don't really know them, and because I know developers, right? So I know where to find the developers, but I don't necessarily want to build a product for developers. So I want to build for someone else, right? And that is just hard, because it's probably cold emailing at the beginning. I mean, I've posted a lot about it. I streamed a lot of the process with no real return on investment in terms of customer conversations, right? So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I worked for a client project that tried to solve this. Was called Find AI, where they would use LLMs and a huge databases of persons, emails, whatever, to find like specific types of people in specific types of areas. But it was not really a good business model apparently, so they pivoted. But yeah, it is a general problem that you have to to solve, right?
Yeah. The problem with cold email as well is that people are bombarded already. There is so many people that are able to create software these days that it's even worse than what it was. It was already difficult.
Yeah.
I was at Lead Fuse. I was there in 2015 when there was this boom of, I don't know, email marketing and whatnot, trying to follow up and things like that, which I quit very, very fast because I did not like that, that market and whatnot. But the point is, it was already very, very difficult at that time.
Yeah.
These days, where even on Reddit, there is so many people that are posting each minute. I just did X. I just built Y. This is crazy, and these things like last for 1 or 2 months and whatnot. So I mean, there's a real problem with the output that is currently being generated versus people that try to, I don't know, they wanted to have a business all their lives, and now they finally have a way to try it. But I mean, it takes a lot more than just being able to build something. So, and I'm in that, since 2008. I've been, I don't know, I've been advised to put a lot of effort into marketing, and admittedly, I never really done that. Even now, just writing a blog post feels weird because I know that nobody's going to read that. It's hard to find, how do I say that? Marketing activities that will have a real impact. And the things I don't like about marketing is that you cannot do something and measure that in the same week. And that is one aspect that software engineers have a huge difficulties to cope with. We are used to, especially now, we are used to have an immediate reaction to what we are doing. But marketing is like, it can take 3-4 months. The message that you post at some point might be seen in 2 or 3 months by someone that, I don't know, just passed by, and it appears that they will need what you were talking about. I mean, I don't like that. This is the part that I don't like about, marketing, and understanding, or at least convincing myself that I'm doing things that compound without seeing any results.
But it's also weird now because you're kind of you're part of the marketing you can do right now is not directed to humans. It is actually to agents. Because I know Google and showing up in Google results and people saying SEO is dead and all those kind of things. I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true, because just because people don't search anymore, the agents that they use to search with does use Google search, So then it becomes this weird game where you have to show up on Google for the sake of the agents, and then get recommended for the agents, which is the new kind of like SEO game. So like, I'm still, for my consultancy side, I'm starting to test out like writing a lot of the name is thought leadership type post, which is but just to try and show up in the search results. Like, how do I do this? How should I do that? Which also is very hard to measure. Like, does it get picked up? Does it get found? Does it get shown?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same, but it's not the same. So it's a strange situation, a strange time in history we are right now. Because when I released Andorra, I received some emails from people that were also doing tooling, and they were like, so how are you approaching getting people to adopt your framework, right? And I'm like, I don't care. This is not built for you. This is built for me. It's out there, and if as many people use this tool as, I don't know, Laravel or Rails, fucking awesome. That would be cool, you know. But it is built for me, so there's just this. You're just drowning in this sea of AI generated blog posts and people trying to make a business out of open source or it's strange. It feels very strange right now, but I mean, it also opens up. There's a lot of space for creativity, which like is probably even more necessary now than it was before. Like I spent a lot of time thinking about deploy create. Like how should I position it? Does it even make sense anymore? There was a new project called OpenShip that got released over the weekend on Twitter, and it's basically my vision with deploy create. But there's a bunch of other projects that has the same kind of vision. So I was like, okay, trying to discuss it myself, trying to type out ideas with the agents, like what, and research this and give me there, blah blah blah. So yeah, it just feels like everything is kind of weird right now because you can do everything. Everyone can technically do everything right now, but it's not necessarily something new. It's just more of the same with variations. And then you try to force that into the market, where we didn't have that before because being technical was an advantage. Like you could build stuff that other people could not build, and now building a product like deploy create, I could just have the agents set me up. I'm using just here a little bit loosely, but I could technically have the agents configure like a Kubernetes cluster and build out a dashboard and then be like, okay, here you go, auto scaling, whatever, build packs, you go nuts, right? But then what is the reason for this tool existing compared to something else, right? And the main conclusion I kept drawing was that I had a hard time finding a path forward that is just not competing on price. And maybe that is what we're going to see, that people are just going to be competing on price in a lot of these established industries like infrastructure or certain types of SaaS product, right? It's just price you can go down to, and you can do some different kinds of features, but you really, it's I'm going on for a bit of rant here, but it's
I know it's difficult. It's harder.
Just a weird time because what are you bringing to the table that is not necessarily already there? And that used to be technical know-how or spending 10 years in the industry and then doing something else. That is still valid, but that does not mean that someone with a cloud subscription could not technically do the same. And then if that person convinces enough people, they could technically do all the other managed infrastructure in my case, right? Compete in a sense with those on features at least. So,
yeah, totally. But on the other end, I watched a video the other day of Rob Walling. Rob Walling is someone that I'm following since 2006, 7, whatever. He was saying that even though everything that you just said is there's it's still a good time for small motivated team or individual to build SaaS, because the number one aspect that customers will search will be, well, customer service, customer support, call it what you want, just before any kind of feature list or benefits or whatnot. I think the distinction now more than ever, it was already there, it was already that before, compared to bigger organizations. So small software vendor historically had two superpower. First, it could go fast, and it's still true. And even though bigger organization might start to go faster, well, it will still be very slow compared to a 1, 2, 3, 5 person software company. But the second advantages or superpower was really caring about the customers, and I think the authenticity and the care that a small team can bring to the table will be the value of the future. It was already that, but now it's like number one on the list, because if you take my product, for example, I think my product is probably even easier to copy than yours, because yours requires some still technical knowledge, if you will. So let's say a marketing person would want to build your product. I mean, wow, they would still have a hard time to describe exactly what they want, because, well, they don't really know all the infra related aspect and whatnot. What are the implications of, I don't know, not letting the SSH key being publicly visible to, you get what you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
While my product is, well, okay, I have a website builder. Oh, okay, I have an online store, e-commerce and whatnot. I mean, I'm those things are known by LLMs and whatnot, and people can describe them. But what they cannot replicate at the moment is the care that we have for everyone that is opening an account.
Yeah,
and
that is true.
This is where the efforts should be put more than ever with small. If any listeners wants to start building a company, I was a little bit discouraged if you listened to Go Podcast for the last 2 years, maybe. But seeing what I'm seeing at the moment with the efforts that we are putting into just establishing great relationship, and it's funny because I'm sounding like everyone that talked to me with in the last 20 years or so, and I'm starting to sound like them, and I was either not listening or did not really wanted to hear what they were saying. But yeah, it all started there. If you can just start to, I don't know, ensure that everyone is taken care, like, in a superior way, that you really, at the moment when someone asks for a feature, I usually deliver in 24 hours. Is it because of the LLM? No, because I was always quick to build. But now I'm just, when there's someone that is testing the platform, it's like I change my mindset a little bit, and I'd say, okay, what this person's needs at the moment to stay there? What are they having as a real problem to either move to the platform or stay there? And usually it's just those small things, because it's a young platform. We don't have all the features like established players like Shopify or Kajabi and whatnot, because we do so many things that it's certain that there's a couple of things missing here and there. But that attention to it's like we offer a personalized onboarding, and everyone was saying that for a long time. You should handhold all your, let's say your first, I don't know, 25 or 50 first customers. I was telling to my wife the other day, you know what? If we need to do that to all of the customers, I don't care. I will do it. I will still do it if we are at 500, because this, at the moment, this is the distinction that we have.
Yeah.
So I don't think software is going to play a huge role in the future at all, because it's I don't know how to say that, but it's commoditized. Everyone is able to do mostly everything, especially software engineer. If you have built any kind of system in your life, you can probably build anything that you want and try a software service really quickly. But the problem was always there, and it's even worse now. How are you going to find customer, and have you what it takes to, to build a 10 years company, and the efforts that is required, especially for us software engineer, is it's significant, because I hate doing marketing, but as every time that there is a new customers that just activate their paying subscription, I'm like, okay, we are doing something that is working at the moment, and I don't want to change anything at the moment.
No, that's a good point. Like in the age of machines, you need to provide a human touch, and that might because, like as I said, every answer I got in my little mental exploration phase was like pricing was probably where most of the actual hard competing could be, but that's not necessarily true, right? Because if you do offer exceptional customer service and those kind of things, you could probably charge more, right? So that's probably a good point to consider and try and incorporate those elements into the product, because I've used explored some of the very vibe coded apps that makes money, and it's just bad. It's just bad.
Yeah.
And there's one guy I follow on Twitter where I think I mentioned him a couple of times, and he's doing a lot of things and he's making a lot of money, but he's mainly selling a dream. And he did this website where you could connect your Stripe or your Polar or whatever payment portal you used, and then you could show your how much money you were making, and then you would get a backlink and you could buy startups, whatever. And he just started charging for customer feedback. You had to pay $1 or something every time you wanted to send like a request, because I'm getting so many so many customer support requests, and it's like, because you built crap. I don't know. So yeah, that's probably some truth. I'm really trying to think about this. What does all of this mean? Because I listened to another podcast where the guy is running an email sending platform. It's called Bento, and he was like, "Do the hard thing," and I was like, "Yeah, that's true. I can do things now solo that I couldn't do before, simply because I can technically do more stuff. I would not need to necessarily sit down and read through." Again, let's take Kubernetes as an example. I wouldn't sit down to read through Kubernetes like documentation, but I can still take what Kubernetes does and do something with that. So you can do a lot more now, which is I think that's still exciting prospect, that you can do all of this yourself or with a small team. So there is exciting elements to it, but there's also this, I think, uncertainty in the whole space that a lot of people are also voicing in their blogs or in their posts or whatever, right? That we don't like, where is this going? What's happening? and that is probably also causing a lot of the confusion in how to approach this. I've actually going back to deploy quit. I actually decided to open source or source available the product. I just remember that we talked about this before, and it was actually my original plan was to get this open sourced. So there was like the beachhead of getting people on was developers, and then I had some conversations with some VCs, and they were like, maybe try and not make it free for everyone to use. I was like, yeah, okay, I could try that, but no success. And then I talked to another friend of mine who was also building a product, and in my mind, he was kind of the target customer because he was technical without being a developer. But he was like, but man, when I get to the point where I need some infrastructure that is not free or on a free plan, I would likely have developers who would make that decision. I would never make that decision myself. I was like, That's right. So I'm a little bit all over the place here, right? I'm trying to figure out the path forward for deploy crate, but there is going to be a community edition once I kind of finalize the new concepts I'm playing around with in my head. So I'm going the static backend route with this thing. That I think that's going to be exciting to have a lot more people give it a try, see what they think.
Nice. So if there's going to be a community edition, so how are you going to, will you maintain two code bases? So one is the open source version and one is, the production paid product?
Yeah, so yes and no. I'm still toying a little bit with the idea of following the plausible route for this, where they also have a community edition, but it lags behind the production version. So I can't remember. I think it's 6 weeks or something in terms of features and those kind of things. That could be one path. Another path depends on how I want to position the paid product. Do I want to do it fully managed so there's no servers to manage? So it just becomes the control plane that you get when then maybe just say like, okay, in your pricing, there is the cost of the server that you get, and then something on top of that. And then it's probably going to be very similar. But it really depends on what I'm going to do with the new concept. Because I'm thinking of making telemetry data a first-class citizen and potentially have it be reactive in a way to metrics. So like a lot more monitoring, a lot more data into, okay, you just did this release and we can see that the error rate has gone up. Do you want us to go back to this release? Which is kind of already existing, like rollbacks is not really a new thing, but having the whole system be reactive of the events and what's happening in the application, I think that could be a cool thing to explore. Or have it be reactive to overload, so that kind of like auto scale, those kind of. So it's not necessarily new what I'm thinking of doing, but I kind of still want to see if I could drive like open telemetry data to do a lot more instead of just saying like. Instead of just auto scaling, but could be able to like, okay, you did this, and we can see these error rates or these request metrics or whatever going up. We suggest you roll back to this thing, and then you could either have a setting that says we can do that automatically, or you have to approve it. I don't know. So there's some high level thoughts of what I want to do, because I think whenever I do run stuff, the metrics of how the application is running it's always been tacked on later, right? Even in big production systems, like it's not like this. Like, how do we actually know how it's performing? It is often not done from day one, and I think it could be really cool to do it from day one, and without having to instrument the application necessarily. So I can still intercept requests and do some metrics based on that. You still need to actually install and add OpenTelemetry or whatever to your application to get proper telemetry. But as much as possible I can do without the user having to do that, and then be able to react to events and what's happening. I think that could be a very cool thing to add. So yeah, to answer your question, maybe 2 code bases, likely not. It really depends on where I'm going with this. Because there's also it's this balance of not giving people a free version that is just, with this Lex type, what's it called, like a hand type behind the back or whatever. So yeah, like, do you want to have something usable? You need to upgrade, right? So maybe that is team features. Maybe that is, I don't know. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I was investigating that at some point for static backend. It's a little bit more complex than what it sounds to have a community edition and still make evolve to product, or at least, But at the same time, you cannot really easily have everything into one single project. So I don't know. This model is. I did not knew that Plausible was only 6 week late. I thought they were not really updating their open source version anymore, or at least, or maybe that's Fathom Analytics. Maybe I mix both companies.
It's been a while since I looked into it. I think it was 6 weeks, maybe it was 6 months. I feel
because
like
6 week is pretty slow. It's almost nothing. So they don't really get an advantages from the point of view of paying. If 6 week is very short, in my opinion. If it's that, wow, 6 months makes
probably more
sense. Yeah,
I can't remember. I will need to check it out. I just think it's a interesting way of doing this. And actually, I had set a repository up for the crate operator where it would have a remote to the private, so I can pull down releases at a certain frequency. Which would probably be nice. But then again, it also comes with the open source version where the onboarding flow would have to be slightly different. For example, with the way that Coolify did it, maybe still does, is you're basically using insecure lines when you set up your project for the first time, and it's not necessarily a huge deal, but it's still not secure because they want you to open some ports, and it's not secured until you get the domain and everything set up right. So there's certain onboarding flows for the open source product that would have to be in place, which would likely just be, and like that's the benefit of me doing this in Go, right? Because it's just going to be a binary. So it's just a little CLI application you will download onto the server and then answer some questions, and then it configures it, and then you say like, okay, you need the domain. What is your domain? And we set it up, blah blah blah, and you are on a secure connection, which will always not be the case for the paid product. So a little bit of a drift will probably be in place, but probably the core of the product is going to stay the same, which is the control plane, and then it literally depends on how I want to do the managed product. If I'm going to do Kubernetes, or if I'm going to stick with the crate operator on each server. There's still a lot of thinking to do.
Totally. One thing I did not really like myself about the state of static backend for some aspect is that since I were doing manage hosting and whatnot, there's a couple of places in the code that it needs to know, well, are we in a managed situation in here? So, for example, let me give you a couple of examples, but there's storage in static backend. So in the paid product, well, you, based on your plan, you are capped to upload, I don't know, 1 gig or 2 gigabyte file and whatnot. So this does not exist in the self-hosting version. But since it's the same code base, now I have a couple of code path that needs to ask themselves, well, in what state are we? And this, I don't know, this, in hindsight, this is not very fun to have. Everyone, every time that you have some kind of if statements that look, I remember a long time ago we had some, if customer ID equal 1 2 3 4 5, and because I don't know, there was 1 or 2 customers that made some deals and whatnot, and they had some special things, and now it's plaguing the code base. I'm talking about that in the early 2000s. Don't judge me, please. But the point is, those if are not very fun to have.
No.
But again, I mean, there's not an easy way to have a community edition and I think having a separate code base at first might be interesting, but at some point it there seems to be so many diversion, and now you're not really able to merge one way or the other and things like that. I mean, imagine having to do some kind of I don't know, diffing and whatnot, and not accepting all the changes from one side to the other, because now you need to. I don't know. It seems to be not an easy thing to do, and you cannot really write the code in two code bases either. So it needs needs to be fetched from probably from the community edition to the other, but sometimes there will probably be conflict. Let's say 1 year from now, I mean, those two code bases could have evolved very differently and whatnot. I mean, I don't know. It's a hard problem.
Yeah, it is. But again, if you go back to be able to do more, if you accept our agentic overlords into the code base, I mean, maybe it's feasible. I don't know.
They are not good at fixing merge conflict and whatnot, though.
No. So
could be dangerous.
It could be very dangerous.
Oh yeah. I fixed the merge, no problem, and now the two code bases are identical.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting.
Totally.
But
I'm sure you will find a way.
Hopefully. So at least I think I can move a lot faster now with the SPA front end stuff. So that is gonna take off a bunch of work. But the sad thing is, I really enjoyed building some of the UIs I have in Deploy Crate, but they also because you have to explore and figure out what you want to do, and does this feel nice? Is this a good UX? And then write it and blah. It just sometimes it would take me like a work day to do like a complex UI flow for Deploy Crate by writing it by hand, which is probably also good to understand it, but do I really need to understand? So yeah, I'm gonna take what I have and I'm gonna model it on a fresh code base, and then see what I can drive it for. So that is it's exciting, and it's also a little bit weird to manage.
It's kind of crazy that we are saying, oh, you know what, it takes me like one full day to build a complex UI, because I mean, in what world are we in now to not find that acceptable?
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, I was so stressed because I was like, what the hell have I done this week, and I've just been writing and that was one of back before AI, that was why I really wanted Anduril to exist as a framework, because there's so much boilerplate in Go that you have to write, and some people love to write that boilerplate. I was never really that big of I was more into the system and the idea and solving the problem. So I wanted the generator to do most of the stuff. And I would say now that I have this CLI that the agents can use, so they follow what I say is good code, that helps a lot. But yeah, you do tend to need to write a lot of code to get anywhere and Go. Not as much as Rust, but still a decent amount, which is great, because then when you have to read the code, you can actually read what is going on. So you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? So it's but it is right. It's true that me saying that is not really acceptable. It's crazy how things have moved.
Oh yeah, totally. Because it will take 2-3 minutes for to build that UI for an LLM.
Yeah,
that is.
But
you might do some back and forth, but still, I mean, 10 minutes then.
Yeah, but you can't deny, because I did my agency site and did my personal blog, and I found there was this repository which someone had made designs for doing a presentation in HTML, and has some really nice designs and color themes. So I was just taking screenshots of that, and they had a skill to adapt the design. And one day to build out everything, the public-facing pages, the admin pages, the management, one day. But that was not... I could do that before, but not have it look good, right? So it's just... it's just moved so far. And now I have automation. I have a lot of endpoints. I can have ChatGPT call and say, okay, here is my notes. Please take all my notes for the week and give me an overview of what kind of blog post I could write from these notes or what kind of tweets I could write. So it just collects everything for me, and all of that in one day. So now I can get down to what actually matters, which is, for example, like creating the blog post or creating the tweets or building out the actually exciting features. So yeah, it is crazy that I'm saying a full day for a complex workflow, but it's just where we are.
Yeah, well, yeah. What can we do, man? This is our life now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for this week.
Yeah, you should post this on Reddit again. I think they will love it.
At least there were someone that came. I saw that this morning. They say something like, "Oh, great, great episode, great content as usual." So we did receive a couple of comments in the Slack channel as well. So I don't know. One chance that these people voice that, because at some point I'm like, okay, man, should we stop? Should we stop the pod or what? I mean, this is kind of crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, but to be fair, Linus Torvald was out with a statement saying, stop like this hate on AI in the Linux kernel. This is a tool. It's here to stay. We are not some social warrior project. AI is a fine tool. It has its place. It's going to stay here. Accept it. So maybe when Linus is going out and saying these kind of things, maybe we will never know.
Who knows? But still. Oh, well. Anyways, we will survive, man.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we talk next week.
Yeah. See you, man. Bye-bye.